Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions, and the house of Jacob their sins.
Copyright disclaimer. This content does not belong to Bible Chronicles or claim this intellectual property. The content provided today has and always will belong to the content owner. Bible Chronicles does not have any affiliation with the owner of this property. As mentioned, Bible Chronicles does not intend to make use of any material for the purpose of harvesting gain. However, Title 17 of United States copyright law states material and use can only be done when it's for theological or general educational purposes, and thus Bible Chronicles believes that this principal material falls under fair use, which honors protection under Section 107 of the same U.S. copyright law.
Yes, I've said that many times. Westerners can't tell the truth. Okay, so let's talk about how and why they can't tell the truth. I've said it many times. Westerners are incapable of honesty. They're incapable of telling the truth. I've explained many times. I'm not saying it's deliberate. It's not necessarily on purpose, no. You know, that would be like, literally like saying someone who has no legs is on purpose not playing basketball. You understand? Yes, I've said that many times. Westerners can't tell the truth. Okay, so let's talk about how and why they can't tell the truth. I've said it many times. Westerners are incapable of honesty. They're incapable of telling the truth. I've explained many times. I'm not saying it's deliberate. It's not necessarily on purpose, no. You know, that would be like, literally like saying someone who has no legs is on purpose not playing basketball. You understand? I'm talking about incapability, not deliberate, intentional dishonesty. I mean, obviously, there are plenty of people who are just straight up liars out of the West and everywhere else, but I'm not talking about them. I'm saying that honesty is not their language in the West. Truth is not a dialect that they speak. They don't know how to speak that language. I know people get mad when I say that, but understand, I'm actually telling you something that has been done to you. I'm telling you something that you have been deprived of. You understand? I'm telling you something that you're a victim of by your culture, by your so-called civilization. They victimized you in this way. This is the most graphic and the most literal form of kufar, covering up, concealing, burying the truth. And this is all they do. It's the only language they know, truly. This is the only language they know. And this is why everyone around the world is quickly coming to the conclusion that you simply can't be engaged with. The Westerners simply can't be engaged with. It's just not productive. It's not productive. It's not useful in any way whatsoever to engage with you. Like I've said before, in these interactions, no communication ever actually takes place. When we talk to you, when people in the global south talk to you, when Muslims talk to you. And that's a shame. It's a shame what has been done to you, but it has been done to you. It's a shame what you've been deprived of as a human being. This dysfunction that has infected, intergenerational dysfunction that has been inflicted on your culture. Now, of course, some of what I'm talking about could be dismissed as their ignorance or their misunderstanding, you know, or some sort of a personality disorder, like you can't pay attention, you have ADHD or what have you, or you're aggressive, you have a problem with your temper and so forth, and this is why you can't be engaged with it, why there can't be productive, normal, healthy, rational conversations with you. But for me, I characterize all of these behaviors under the overarching label of dishonesty, because that's how it pans out. That's the practical impact. That's the practical outcome. You know, you inject falsehood, you muddy the waters of discourse, you distract, you derail, you deny, you deflect, you sidestep. You know, you bring in irrelevancies into the conversation. You bring in fake issues. You do anything and everything. Wallahi, you do anything and everything to try to stop honest discussion. You always try to obscure reality by hook or by crook. And so the practical impact of all of that, that all comes out to the same practical impact as if you were just lying. I mean, it goes much deeper than just false narratives. It's deeper than propaganda. We're actually talking about a culturally ingrained reflex against truth.
This is one of the reasons why we do not care about Charlie Kirk. Because we've seen fathers carry dead children. We've seen mothers carry dead children. We've seen children carry dead children. We've seen too many dead children. And dead children.
And yet, as we meet here tonight, There is a growing danger that threatens every blessing our ancestors fought so hard for, struggled, they bled to secure. Our nation is witnessing a merciless campaign to wipe out our history, defame our heroes, erase our values, and indoctrinate our children. Many of these people have no idea why they're doing this, but some know exactly what they are doing. One of their political weapons is cancel culture.
Can't stand the word empathy. Actually, I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that does a lot of damage, but people say, well, he's just being himself. He's so authentic. Okay, if a third worlder comes and starts defecating on the side of the street in Times Square, are we going to say, boy, he's being his true and authentic self?
I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal.
Okay, now 5's a lot, right? I'm going to give you some credit. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years? Counting or not counting gang violence? Great.
This is a dark moment for America, for America, for America, for America, for America, for America, for America.
This is a dark day for our state. It's a tragic day for our nation. And I want to be very clear that this is a political assassination. 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 Assassination.
Mexicano soy, llevo en alta mi bandera que rifa donde quiera, la frente en alta donde voy, me la fleto con cualquiera listo para dar pelea. Mexicano soy, llevo en alta mi bandera que rifa donde quiera, la frente en alta donde voy, me la fleto con cualquiera listo para dar pelea. Orgullo mexicano directo de Jalisco, le eché huevos a la vida, lo mío no fueron los libros, un par de guantes viejos que tenía cuando morrillo fueron la mejor escuela, nunca me di por vencido. Si me miran por andar espaciando en la 6x6 es porque andaba bateando de antes de los 16. Me fajé para hacer lo mío, nunca me perdí la fe, me hice el más grande del mundo y a los 5 les tapé. Mexicano soy, llevo en alta mi bandera que rifa donde quiera, la frente en alta donde voy, me la aprieto con cualquiera listo para dar pelea. Mexicano soy, llevo en alta mi bandera que rifa donde quiera, la frente en alta donde voy, me la aprieto con cualquiera listo para dar pelea. Desde plebe fui aguerrido, no andaba buscando los problemas, pero siempre fui el que protegió a los míos. En el barrio yo he crecido, ahora en la muñeca un Richard Miller ruleteando por las calles de Jalisco. Terror para el oponente, yo soy su martes 3, en sus días de mala suerte. Eso me dice que soy siempre se achica el contrincante si me miran de frente. Orgullo de GDL, viva México, cabrón. Terror para el oponente, yo soy su martes 3. En sus días de mala suerte, eso me dice que soy siempre se achica el contrincante si me miran de frente. Orgullo de GDL, viva México, cabrón. Mexicano soy, llevo en alta mi bandera que rifa donde quiera, la frente en alta donde voy, me la aprieto con cualquiera listo para dar pelea. Mexicano soy, llevo en alta mi bandera que rifa donde quiera, la frente en alta donde voy, me la aprieto con cualquiera listo para dar pelea. Y arriba México, cabrones.
Chicanos killing Chicanos is what they want. Blacks and Chicanos killing each other is what they want. That's how they run this place. Once we get together, they don't run shit. You got a lot to learn about being Chicano.
Yeah, Alcatraz, midget loco. Yeah, they never seen this coming, man. What up, Loom? What up, Oreo? 500 years of captivity. What else? Now they try to tell us how we supposed to be, how we supposed to act, how we supposed to rap. How I'm brown but my flow too black. Come on, y'all kidding me, right? Nike Air Flights fitted cock back fresh, representando mexicanos on the mat. No estoy jugando, got bars like I battle on smack. But hold on, I'ma bring it right back. My people indigenous, I'm not sure if you getting this. By the time I'm done, you gon' be feeling this. I come from the people they call Mexica. I've been to the motherland, Chichen Itza. Seen the Mayan ruins, intellectual architects. Been in the cenote, seen ancient artifacts. Really? Cali is Mexico, those are the facts. They raped women, gave elders heart attacks. It was a battle, our people were outgunned. Took life and cattle, we were outdone. However, 2 wars proudly we take to the grave. Those we call our Independence Day. It's time to stand up, educate our people. Stay on our ground, let them know that we equal. We see your plan, but your plan is see-through. You can't stop my people. Mexicano, I'm brown and proud. Mexicano, I'm brown and proud. Mexicano, I'm brown and proud. Mexicano, I'm holding it down.
Yeah. Story with Mexicans, Mexicano. Gave birth to the word that we know as Chicanos. Aztec warrior, man, it's all in my blood. From the Tenochtitlan, that's the heart of the love. Now Mexico City, that's a modern day name. Don't let the books confuse you to be a modern day slave. Gotta get your facts right and study the culture. Don't be like Cortez, he came like a vulture. Came to just steal and take away the land. He seen what we got and he was like, damn, who would've guessed it had to be a white man. Damn again, now we got stolen lands. They say go back to where the fuck you from. Man, this is my land, that's what you stole from us. I'm not Hispanic or Latino, I'm a Mexican. Man, fuck La Militia, you can have that bitch.
It's time to stand up, educate our people. Stay on our ground, let them know that we equal. We see your plan, but your plan is see-through. You can't stop my people. Mexicano, I'm brown and proud. Mexicano, I'm brown and proud. Mexicano, I'm brown and proud. Mexicano, I'm holding it down, yeah.
El autor viene a decirnos con mucha firmeza y gran convencimiento lo mismo que nos decía en el siglo XVIII el barón de Holbach, ¿no? Un filósofo francés de origen alemán. Si nos remontamos al comienzo, entonces hallaremos que la ignorancia y el temor crearon a los dioses. La fantasía, el entusiasmo o el engaño los adornaron o desfiguraron. La debilidad les rinde culto, la credulidad los conserva, la costumbre los respeta y la tiranía los apoya para que la ceguera de los hombres sirva a sus propios intereses.
Yo. Oh, shit. All right, hold on. Let me get this camera going on real quick. Okay, dokie. All right, Pam. Check it. Hope y'all are well. What up, Warakuya? Buenas noches, La Meshi. Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon for all you. And for all you haters in the back, what's up? All right, check this out. I got a old video that I never used. I had it on private, and I want to share it with y'all because, again, it all has to do with this right here, incapable honesty, basically meaning that this nation, like the video, like the recording, you guys, I don't know if you caught it in the beginning, the guy was talking how some people are just incapable of telling the truth. Check this out. I want to just play the first part because I think it's a great example of where we're at today. I got to play it this way because, actually, no, maybe let's move it over here.
Yes, I've said that many times. Westerners can't tell the
Check
truth.
it out. This
Okay,
is
so let's talk about how and why they can't tell the truth. I've said it many times. Westerners are incapable of.
See, he said, I've said it many times. Westerners are incapable of telling the truth. Incapable honesty. That's a fact right there. Everything that we know, that we've been taught, has been a freaking lie. Everything what occurred recently or yesterday is me personally, from what I've noticed and what I've been paying attention to, the way that they moved with the news to push that it was a political reason behind him getting killed, told me this was fucking planned. Because Republicans or the right-wingers, alt-right, they moved on this shit quick and can all agree on one statement. So I'm sorry to tell you, this is definitely Babylon. Let me let it play. It's only like about a minute and a half, but I love it because it's the perfect example of incapable honesty. That's what we're at today. Let's go.
Yes, I've said that many times. Westerners can't tell the truth. Okay, so let's talk about how and why they can't tell the truth. I've said it many times. Westerners are incapable of honesty. They're incapable of telling the truth. I've explained many times. I'm not saying it's deliberate. It's not necessarily on purpose, no. You know, that would be like, literally like saying someone who has no legs is on purpose not playing basketball. You understand? I'm talking about incapability, not deliberate, intentional dishonesty. I mean, obviously there are plenty of people who are just straight up liars out of the West and everywhere else, but I'm not talking about them. I'm saying that honesty is not their language in the West. Truth is not a dialect that they speak. They don't know how to speak that language. I know people get mad when I say that, but understand, I'm actually telling you something that has been done to you. I'm telling you something that you have been deprived of. You understand? I'm telling you something that you're a victim of by your culture, by your so-called civilization. They victimized you in this way. This is the most graphic and the most literal form of kufar, covering up, concealing, burying the truth. And this is all they do. It's the only language they know, truly. This is the only language they know. And this is why everyone around the world is quickly coming to conclusion that you simply can't be engaged with. The Westerners simply can't be engaged with. It's just not productive. It's not productive. It's not.
See? So, for example, when we say to you, where the fuck are you getting this information from that you're claiming to be this? Or where the hell do you have the right to say this? And you go with alternative facts. Both of you. Anglos and Pans.
Useful in any way whatsoever to engage with you. Like I've said before, in these interactions, no communication ever actually takes place. When we talk to you, when people in the global south talk to you, when Muslims talk to you. And that's a shame. It's a shame what has been done to you, but it has been done to you. It's a shame what you've been deprived of as a human being. This dysfunction that has infected, intergenerational dysfunction that has been inflicted on your culture. Now, for some of what I'm talking about could be
intergenerational dysfunction. Intergenerational dysfunction. And I'm glad that he put it that way. I'm going to show you some things. I want you to think about this, fam, in regards to how propaganda works. And you got to be smart about this. You know, aside from all the things that our creator is asking about for you or from you, you also have to be like wise as a serpent, it says. I'm showing this to you because Nick Fuentes goes off on Charlie Kirk. Now, this is my opinion. Because as soon as that happened to this dude, and I saw the video, like I saw that shit. He gets shot in the neck, lower left part of the neck. You can tell right off as soon as he gets shot there, his whole chest flexes. So his muscles contract. It's like, ooh. And then next thing you know, there's blood gushing to his left. And he's kind of like trying, for a moment, I guess his brain's still trying to sit up. He's maybe processing info. This is going fast, like he's processing info. Like, what the fuck just happened? And next, all that blood gushing out of his head through his neck. That's one of those main arteries, on your left and right side. And then those tendons that hold your neck up. It was executed. It was professional. This was, I believe, planned way before, because they called this guy a martyr. Maybe more of a sacrifice for the sake of keeping these people together. I mean, I'm telling you, family, that this is moving with a different spirit. Of course, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? But to go to that extreme, that's some wicked shit. So let's listen to this point first. This was like a month ago, 2 weeks ago, okay?
It's only the Republicans that support this. There is no other constituency in the world outside of Israel. It is the Republicans that support this. Republicans that claim to be Christian, Republicans that claim to be compassionate Christians and America first, and they support America's encirclement to Israel as they commit a genocide of women and children.
Oh, you would think, why does he get kicked out? I think that they need his fringe persona to keep those that are outside, like the Bay, where, like straight, square type of nationalist. He motivates them. And also because he doesn't agree with the Israel situation. But here we see a break from this movement.
That's not right. And that hypocrisy needs to be called out. And it's just not good enough what we're getting. Charlie Kirk and your focus group, fuck you.
That.
Focus.
See that right there? So he goes after the dude that just got shot. Now, this is, mind you, August 28, 2025, right? That's when they played it. I don't know exactly when that video was done by this guy. But he did it on Rumble, Nick Fuentes, right? But keep in mind what is going on here. Incapable honesty. Propaganda is the number one artillery of Babylon.
And that hypocrisy needs to be called out. And it's just not good enough what we're getting. Charlie Kirk and your focus group, fuck you. Focus group. Why don't you focus on...
Let me forward it to the point where this guy's talking. Right? Hold on. I'm not interested to hear what they got to say. Okay, there it goes.
Go back. Let's go. Keep going.
The suffering and call it out. Turning Point USA makes $80 million per year. $80 million per year. You have millions of followers. You claim to be a Christian. You claim to be America first. You want to do a focus group? You have an obligation to call out what is happening in Israel and who is doing it. You have an obligation with your money, with your organization, your platform, your reach as a Christian, as an...
People say that this guy has followers that are crazy enough to do some shit like that because he's turning against their movement. They were never pro-Israel. Follow what we're doing here.
American to call out that we are supporting evil on behalf of a foreign government. That is the epitome of everything you are against as a patriot, as a Christian, and you defend it. You're not even silent, you defend it. And shame on you I said that the other day. Charlie Kirk has his daughter running up to him on Fox and Friends, and he posts the clip, and that is supposed to be public relations.
When I was listening to this the first time, which was like 2 weeks ago, right? And I remembered this shit, considering the class today. I remembered I was kind of going through my notes before I started it. And it's not like I go through notes. I just use this app and I post shit to remind myself. So I remember saying at that time, like, there is some issues because you can see this Mary J. What's his name? Margie Taylor, whatever. She's all pro Epstein releasing files. That's not what the trumpet man wants. What he's saying about Israel, that's not what the trumpet man wants. When he's pushing back, his people are pushing back too. They're all right-wing fringe shit. Let's not forget that Charlie Kirk was a right-wing white nationalist. Some people considered him a racist. You can decide that shit for yourself. But I look at who you socialize with, who you associate with, and what people agree with your comments. And that usually can tell me ducklings usually walk together. Kind of like birds of a feather walk together. You don't need to sound like them. But if you're kicking it with them at the same fucking corner every fucking week, I should assume that you probably are just the same motherfucking way.
Look at what a family man I am. Look at me with my daughter. You young Americans need to have kids. And I said this up the other night, but I'll say it again. It's a good thing your daughter was born here, because if she was born there, if she was born in Beirut, if she was born in Syria, if she was born in Yemen, if she was born in Gaza, if she was born in Baghdad, if she was born in Erbil, if she was born in Iran, she could have gotten caught in the crossfire and gotten exploded into a million pieces.
I find very interesting. Not saying that or suggesting this dude had anything to do with that, but words matter. Do you guys remember that? I don't know what's that movie called? What's his name? Holy shit! I can't believe I forgot his name. The dude that did Top Gun, Tom Cruise. He did a movie where he was like a cop. And they would get a ball, like they was all like in the future. And I guess they created the system where it could determine if you're like premeditating death. So like if your nervous system was really eager enough to commit that type of murder, like the ball would come out of nowhere and it would roll down and they would have to find that person based on visions and shit. Funny shit. I forgot my point. Let's get back to the subject, man.
By this country that you support for no good reason. So it's a good thing she was born here. Because if she was born in any other one of those countries filled with innocent people that are being murdered, wouldn't have gone so hot.
Ironically, he did get shot. Now, the same dude that did say this, and we can't forget stuff like that. Because again, this is propaganda. And it's, I don't know, man. Look, there's one thing of disliking people. There's one thing of saying, can't wait for the Most High to revenge. Yeah, you could say that. But when you see it, it's another thing. Okay? So when I was little, I did get to see some shit like this. Then I got to see a little bit of that in the hood. But it's been a long time because I do recall seeing this when I was young. I saw like the actual video, how the bullet like went into his neck and the fucking blood gushed out. Like, let's put it this way. If you never killed a chicken, you probably have no idea what it looks like. But it's not a good sight. Like, it's not a good sight for anybody. So before you go and hate, you need to watch that shit. Shit's crazy, man. As soon as he got shot, I don't know how it went, but they said he hung in there an hour or so or two. No, I don't believe it. I think as soon as he got shot, that shit was like within 30, 40, 70 seconds. I tell you what, you need to have a doctor right next to you for that shit to save you. Because that's how bad he got shot. Because that was a powerful rifle. Powerful shot. If you saw the way his body contracted when he got shot, as soon as he got shot, his body contracted like imagine almost like twisting. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Just imagine your chest contracting and all of a sudden you feel like you're kind of sunken into your neck. And then his head kind of hangs over to the left, like he's holding onto the mic still. Like you can see him holding onto the mic as he's leaning to the left. And I believe, like I said, his brain's trying to process, like, what the fuck just happened? Like, what the fuck just happened? And, you know, then so much blood gushing out, bro. Like, it was like somebody turned on the hose. That's how bad it looked. But he did say these things.
Cancel culture.
Can't stand the word empathy. Actually, I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that it does a lot of damage. But people say, well, he's just being himself. He's so authentic. Okay, if a third worlder comes and starts defecating on the side of the street in Times Square, are we going to say, boy, he's being his true and authentic self?
He was criticizing Mamdani, I think, of how he was eating, because he was eating with his finger. But the fingers, like his food, not a fork, spoon, whatever. Are you going to get mad at me because I eat with tacos and shit? Like, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, but he's using that example, like third world country, the dude wants to take a shit in the middle of the street. Like, what do you mean third? That's like that. That's not a human. That's a fucking animal, bro. That's an animal. That's not a human. If somebody from some other country comes and shits in the middle of the fucking Times Square, that's not a sane person, and more likely it's not a human being. But let's continue.
I think it's worth to have cost
The street and time.
This is the important part that blew my mind, because I remember in my moments of kind of catching some of this guy's videos, there's every now and then I used to watch South Park. So when they made a shit about him, that shit was funny and it always stuck to me. Anyways, but listen to what he said.
Authentic self.
I think it's worth to have the cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year.
So he says that he thinks it's worth to have deaths, unfortunately, of guns every year. Okay?
Cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year, so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights.
So that we could have Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. So he said that it's worth people dying to keep the Second Amendment.
That is a prudent deal.
That's a prudent deal, he says. So now let's go back to this shit.
And that's not me being a bleeding heart liberal. That's me saying all of this is unnecessary. This is not good for anyone other than Israel. It is not good for the United States. It is not good for the people living there. And
what this guy's talking about is enough of the, like, I don't agree with this kid at all, bro, but he's talking about enough with the wars. The war is over there because Israel has gone to war, has actually shot at 7 different fucking countries. In case you guys don't know this, they've shot at 7 different fucking countries, man. And then these guys have supported that shit. You know what I mean? That's really the reality. Your money, like if you believe in that bullshit, taxes and your taxes pay your shit. But if you believe in that system, your money is going to that criminal activity. So I don't blame him for trying to stop that, because there are people dying over there.
it has gone so far beyond the pale of what is considered reciprocal.
So here's where I start noticing like this partial division. And I saw this pass by my feed, and I thought, you know what better way to express it? At least it ain't coming from me. It's coming from them. So check this out. I think this lady made some really good points of views that I can for most part agree.
On June 28th of 1914, Gavrilo Princip murdered the then Archduke of Austria-Hungary named Franz Ferdinand. Within a month, by July 28th, Austria-Hungary had declared war on Bosnia because they wouldn't accept all of their terms. This set off a chain reaction of alliances that eventually led to World War I. Do you notice how, even though we do not have a suspect in custody for Charlie Kirk, we do not have a motive, they are already blaming the left and saying, to quote Laura Loomer, that we should use the power of the state to exterminate the left. They are already declaring war even though there is no suspect. This is the excuse that they've been waiting for. This is the response they were hoping to get by Trump's faked assassination attempt. And now that Charlie Kirk is dead, they will weaponize this to use the military, the National Guard, statewide force, and censorship against anyone who does not agree with them. They have been waiting for this moment, and it does not matter what the truth is, they will not accept it, because they want to paint the left as the violent group, even though we're not the ones that committed the insurrection on January 6th, erected a gallows for Mike Pence when he wouldn't do what they wanted him to do. And also the same group of people that said last year, according to Stephen Miller, that the Second American Revolution will remain bloodless if the left allows it. It doesn't matter who did this, or conveniently that it was done the day before September 11th so they can paint it as terrorism. And the same right-wingers that are losing their fucking shit over this right now, and how dare you not be sympathetic to this person who was actively promoting harm, they are the same people who did not say a word when Melissa Hortman and her husband were assassinated in their home by someone who impersonated an officer, had a manifesto about murdering Democratic representatives, had stalked these people, and had essentially an expose on them in his car and in his home. They didn't say a word. No flags at half-mast, no thoughts and prayers, no, we need to do something about this, there's no space for political violence, none of that, because it doesn't matter. The double standard is clear, the hypocrisy is clear. They will balk at the, oh, how dare you? They didn't say a word when Melissa Hortman was killed. They don't actually care about this. They care about using it as a weapon to silence people who oppose them. And it is a great way to reunify a group that was fracturing over not releasing the Epstein files.
See, that's I forgot it was this video that said that. So when I heard her say that shit, I was like, wow, that's the same shit that I was thinking. There's a word that I missed. It was fragile. That group was really not doing well. And listen, I don't know, man, if these guys are serious about like what they believe in, but as soon as he died, dude, like within 6 hours, they were calling him a martyr.
They don't actually care about this. They care about using it as a weapon to silence people who oppose them. And it is a great way to reunify a group that was fracturing over not releasing the Epstein files. And again, right before September 11th, you get to paint it as terrorism. And now you get to use emergency military powers to go after people you don't like. This will escalate violence faster than anything we've seen since January 20th up to this point. And it happened right in front of all of those young white kids who are now ripe to be weaponized.
Yeah, he looks very unwell. A weak and sickly Donald Trump just returned to Washington, D.C., where he...
Hold on a second. So, I don't know, man. I try to tell my children certain things about what's going on. Shit. My daughter's so young. Man, my daughter's so young, dude. It's crazy. Check this out. So for you guys that weren't believing, or were believing, the bullshit that they were saying, that supposedly these people that they killed, these 11 boat riders, they were transporting some drugs. That's what you believe. That's why a lot of you fucking dumbass so-called Hispanics voted for some shit like this. People killed in U.S. boat strikes were not tren de agua, Venezuela minister says. Unlike what this administration has told you, it says none of the 11 people killed in the U.S. military strike on a boat in the Caribbean last week. Hold on a second. Sorry, it was my daughter. None of the 11 people killed in a U.S. military strike on a boat in the Caribbean last week were members of Venezuela's gang Tren de Aragua. None of them. They saw, they shot, and they said, we were right. Those guys were fucking murderers. And you know what a lot of you scumbag right-wingers did? You cheered this shit, you piece of shits. And you're crying over that guy? You laughed at this, you piece of shit, but you're crying over that guy. Venezuela's interior minister said on Thursday, as South American nations deployed troops and heightened tensions with the U.S., the administration of U.S. President Donald Trump has said the boats were transporting illegal narcotics, but that has provided scant further information about the incident, even amid demands from the members of the U.S. Congress for a justification for action. They openly confessed to killing 11 people. The Interior Minister and ruling party head Diosdado Cabello said on state television, "We have done our investigation here in our country, and there are families of the disappeared people who want their relatives. And when we asked in towns, none were from Tren de Aragua, none were drug traffickers. A murder has been committed against a group of citizens using lethal force," added Cabello, questioning how the U.S. could determine whether drugs were on the boat and why the people were not instead arrested. Very true. But a lot of you more likely believe it. And you disgusting right-wingers most likely believed it. It almost seems like this nation of people enjoy blood, the thrill of spillage, unless you see it. Actually, I think a lot of them talk a big game, but when they see stuff like that, they go and lose their life. You guys don't know what you're talking about. What was that video? Here, let me play this. As a matter of fact, this guy makes a good point.
I think Hondurans, Mexicans, Nicaraguans, El Salvadorians, Panamanians, Venezuelans, Chileans, they should all go home.
Vamos a decir las cosas como son y lo que es. La realidad que esta persona, este personaje aquí, que se llama Charlie Kirk, era una persona muy racista. Tenía una ideología muy supremacista, muy de derecha, republicana, sinceramente, MAGA, que tenía mucho odio a la comunidad migrante, que tenía mucho desprecio a la comunidad hispana. Esta persona no era una persona buena. Tenía una ideología que tarde que temprano le iba a cobrar lo que le acaba de suceder. Para los que no saben, hace unas pocas horas le dispararon en el cuello y le quitaron la vida. Es un ser humano al final del día. Sí, es un ser humano. Pero hay gente mala en esta vida, en este mundo tan bonito. Pero hay gente cruel, que no tiene sentimientos, que no tiene respeto, que no tiene ninguna empatía o compasión a las demás personas. Y lo voy a decir por lo que es. Este cabrón era uno de ellos. Un racista. Pero bueno, a alguien le cobró las que debía. Es lo que es. Y así es.
Let's not forget, he was like Trompeta's #1 dude. Here, let me see if it's the same video. Hold on. Give me a second. All right, hold on.
In recent years and even decades, too many people have forgotten
Hold on
that
a second.
truth.
Let me play this longer one.
Together you are the tip of the spear, the edge of the blade, and the front of the shield, defending and protecting our great country. You know, there is no mission our pilots can't handle. There is no hill our Marines can't take. and there is no stronghold the seals can't breach. There is no sea the Navy can't brave, and there is no storm the American sailor can't conquer, because you know that together there is nothing Americans can't do, absolutely nothing. In recent years and even decades, too many people have forgotten that truth. They've forgotten that our ancestors trounced an empire, tamed a continent. Our ancestors trounced an empire, tamed a continent, and triumphed over the worst evils in history.
So there you see and you hear that his ancestors, not a mixed multitude of people, that his ancestors, these Anglos, combined with Saxons, that they tamed you. These are the talks that people have, and then when you disagree with their emotions, which I find it so fucking interesting. Honestly, there's a lot of people that are crying for this guy, which, hey, I don't, I guess, and if you knew him, I guess, man, but shit, you guys don't even know the guy. This dude blasted like a video on TikTok. I don't know. I don't think I have it. He was like a 35-year-old guy, just crying his balls out, dude. Just all fucking crying and shit. Like literally. Remember that this is the same guy that, he supported this lunacy here. Now, I'm going to kind of throw an awkward, kind of present it in an awkward, not
Israel
awkward,
is a crazy country.
Like, remember what he's saying, yet, the South Park character was against him. He was pro, whatever they were doing over there. Pro Khazars all the way, every day. So while this guy's trying to make a point about what they were doing wrong, you would see this caricature guy saying the opposite.
It's like a junkie. Every few years they go to war. They need their fix. They're lunatics. American Jews don't want to defend that.
Yeah, Israel is carrying on in a lunatic fashion. Name me another country in the world. 2003, Israel was the cheerleaders for the war in Iraq. 2006, it went into war in Lebanon. 2008, 2009, it attacked Gaza. Now it talks about attacking Iran. If you read the Israeli papers every day, they talk about, should we attack Gaza? Should we attack Lebanon? Should we attack Syria? Name me another country in the world that falls into that category.
Well,
that's a lunatic state. How many countries has Iran planned to attack? No, let's ask a simple question. How many countries in the last 10 years has Iran attacked?
When you look...
No, that's a fair question. How many countries in the last 10 years has Iran attacked?
The history of Israel, do you not have some sympathy or understanding, people would ask, as to why they feel threatened and why
we're not talking about why they feel threatened. We're talking about a country that every 2 or 3 years goes to war.
And that guy was supporting what they were doing 100%. With no hesitation. How are they supposed to feel? So when you combine all of these pieces together, you start to wonder if everything that we're seeing is true or not. I'm going to show you this TikTok video here, and I didn't want to make a big deal about it because somebody had shared it to me before. And then we're going to move on to the next topic. But they made some valid points. So, they're not going to show the shooting Pete thing. I don't think so. But apparently this guy here made like a cap move, like baseball type of move, like where you You rub, you grab your hat to make a sign. And then this guy watches him, and then he makes like an arm sign, like baseball shit. And then lo fusilan al pinche South Park. Check it.
Man in the white cap behind Charlie Kirk before his death. 3 signs that nobody noticed indicate that Trump was actually at the event. First, before Charlie Kirk was assassinated at Utah Valley University, a man in a white baseball cap behind him made a suspicious gesture. He adjusted his cap and then touched his ear, and immediately afterward, Kirk was attacked. The fact that the man in the white cap was able to stand so close to Kirk in such a core area is no coincidence. It's highly
After that guy grabs his hat, this guy grabs his arm.
likely he was deliberately placed there by someone high up or was an insider. Second, the precision of the shooter's attack is equally striking. Shooting from about 200 yards away, this level of accuracy is definitely not something an ordinary person could achieve. It must have been a professional sniper or someone with military training. As of now, the shooter has not been caught, and although the FBI released 2 suspects, there has been no substantial progress, suggesting the shooter had a meticulous escape plan or possibly a protective shield. Finally, before Kirk's death, he had been actively pushing for the release of the Epstein list, but Trump had privately asked him to stop, which Kirk refused. Now, after this unfortunate incident, discussions about releasing the list have significantly cooled, unexpectedly easing the pressure on Trump regarding the list. After the incident, Trump issued a statement unusually quickly and ordered flags to be lowered to half staff until the 14th of September, with a speed that feels as if he knew Kirk's death was coming.
What I find so funny about this whole messaging
The list. After the incident, Trump issued a statement
right there. When you look at this video, bro, and I've been watching AI do some shit, and my eye cannot get tricked by AI. And I don't know, man. I think that shit is AI because when you look at his hand and just the way he was talking, and then he made a shift in his hands that 4 fingers turn into 3 fingers, and then they turn back into 4 fingers. I'm serious. Like, you got to go back to watch that video. Again, it's my opinion. I'm just trying to put the puzzles together, bro. Because all I know is this. You guys are incapable of honesty. We're surrounded by Euro Afros that are incapable of honesty. And they brought their bullshit over here. So much so that anyways, you'll know the next topic.
Statement unusually quickly and ordered flags to be lowered to half staff.
Saying that like everything was fast. It's like fast. I mean, instead of mourning the guy, sincerely mourning, like you wouldn't even have the energy to do these things. They're like, oh, perfect move. Perfect move. Perfect move. So I got this to show you, man. This was a private video. I'm glad I was able to find it. Again, as I said before, incapable honesty. If you guys get the book called Solomon Grazel, and I appreciate you, brother, for hooking me up on that because you reminded me of it. I do have the hard copy. In the book Solomon Grazel, it actually shows you quickly, like, that these so-called Jews brought masonry to this continent. You see, history is very articulate, man. You can't just blatantly talk about it without considering every fucking piece within it. It's such a threaded, it's like small little particles, man, coming together and creating an image. That's what history is about. So you can't just go and assume with one stroke that that's what it means. No. There's answers to every question if you're willing to fucking find out. Because at this point, matter of fact, let me show this first. Because at this point, it's like, for real, bro? Like we there now again, once again. Now, apparently, you know what? And I actually prefer this statement than any other dumb statement that typically comes out of a wobble and shit. You want to know why? Because he says he's tired. He's tired. So typically, people that say shit like that, it's not that they're tired, it's that they're mad. So let's listen to this. Again, we're incapable honesty. Incapable honesty. Even when we fucking share with you sincere facts. And look, listen, I'll compare my DNA with you guys any fucking day of the week. And if you are more indigenous than me, then I'll start pushing your shit. But you won't. You cannot deliver. Only when it comes to, what's that show called? Jerry. You know what I'm saying?
I have concepts of a plan.
Hold on.
Payday. You want payday.
That's what
I
it
know
is.
that.
That's what it is, man.
Made by claiming I.
That's what it means, bro. I think, quite frankly, because you're so incapable of honesty, you both are losing your minds, like this guy.
I'm not arrogant. I'm on a power trip. I'm in a total commitment against evil. I'm pouring out my guts, my soul, my family, everything I've got committed to this, and I will not have pieces of fucking shit lie about me and say I'm not true. I will fucking destroy you, scum, all of you.
Edom is lost is mine. Here's what it is, bro. Here's what it is, bro. For real. Here's what it is, man.
Payday. You want payday. I know that.
Let's go.
We're getting real tired of you Native American people culturally appropriating the American Indian story when we have put out years of information about you people and what you did to the American Indian to reclassify us and then take our identity.
It seems like you're very confused with your own nonsense. And the question is, who's we? And another question is this: what exactly are you tired of? Are you tired of the truth? That life started here on Turtle Island and understood that the indigenous people are the first ones here before colonizations? I hate to break it to you. The history of Turtle Island shows truth and facts. And if I'm going to be honest with you, it seems like you're tired of being African. Yet you want to claim to be indigenous, Atlanteans, or whatever you want to call yourselves. But it sounds insane coming from you. But please, continue.
The Know Nothing political movement was a political movement in the 1850s, officially known as the Native American.
Turns out, the information that you're showing is false. Next one.
Then you took over the government, as you can see here, the senators, the mayors. You see right here, all down the line, mayor of Baltimore, mayor of Maryland. You can even see that y'all became the 18th vice president. So basically, you took over the government, reclassified the American Indian to Negro, Black, and colored, and then classified yourself as Native Americans to steal the reparations that you were supposed to give to the indigenous American people. You people are diabolical.
You know, by the looks of it, that misinformation means nothing. Therefore, it's outdated and completely useless after all. And the sad part about you is this. I understood that your ancestors came from Africa, yet they were brought here by Europeans, and how they enslaved them over the years. And you know, if you understood the history of Africa and the people, you would have preached the history the right way. But instead, you and all the pretendians on this app wanted to preach our history and making everything about yourselves by promoting the indigenous erasures with self-hate and the ignorant mindset. And the difference between the indigenous and pretendian is that the indigenous are the truth, and pretendian, like yourself, are entitled. And that right there is facts. And last but not least, continue.
Your scams are coming to a close.
Actually, that will be the Indigenous erasures, started by pretendians on TikTok. Consider yourself one, and the investment or profit of this erasure will not be returned.
So I'm getting tired of people constantly saying Black Americans were slaves and people being taught history the wrong way. One of the first slave owners in America was a Black man. A lot of slave owners were Black people. And they owned white people. And they also owned Native Americans. They even had to make a law for us to not enslave white people anymore in early America. It's just a history that isn't taught because the colonizer didn't want the Black Americans to have a sense of pride, to know that we were actually ruling something. They changed the school system late 1800s, early 1900s, and erased the history of what was actually going on in the 1500s, in the 1600s, even the 1700s, and some of the 1800s in America. We owned slaves too. A lot of us were even the colonizers. They just hid that history because they just want you to think Black people have always been a slave and all this other stuff. It is not what you think. So soon I'm going to make a video on early when we were actually running things in America. We actually ran America at a point. We actually ran certain parts of America. The history is just hidden. So later, probably today or tomorrow, I'm going to make a video on how we used to own slaves that were white, Native American, Black, all types of races. We were not always slaves. We actually started off as slave owners. We were enslaving people in Europe. We were enslaving Caucasian people in Europe. This is real history. We were not always the victim. We actually started off somewhat as the oppressors. So yeah, today or later on or whatever, tomorrow, I'm going to drop a video on stuff like this.
To the Native Americans, but many of them owned slaves and did.
Yeah, no, that was a big thing, man.
Not like Black people.
So I've been educating myself. And you know what I found out? So this isn't talked about often, but we know that many Native Americans enslaved Black people in this country.
Right.
And the 5 tribes profited off slavery so much so that they fought for the Confederacy to keep slavery alive on Native land.
Crazy.
So when the Civil War ended and the Emancipation Proclamation was signed and slaves were supposed to be immediately free as of 1863, you know what? Slavery did not end for Black people on Native American lands until 1866.
That's
We talk
insane,
about
dude.
Juneteenth and how slaves...
3 years. 3 years after slavery was ended, right, abolished in America, did it take for the Native Americans to come up off of them slaves?
So I missed what they were saying, but I mean, let's be honest. This total bullshit, because I could bring you back to actual facts that you guys were the ones fighting for slavery to be kept. You were enslaving your own people. You were enslaving white folks. You were enslaving natives. Shut the fuck up. I'm not letting you guys go on this shit no more. White people and Black people, you need to stop the fucking game. The only way that you can come to the conclusion of some kind of peace is when you both admit that you both work together. And that one fucked the other eventually in 1865. That's what it was. And you've been complaining since that time. It's it. You lost the power. That's the problem. So when you guys can both come to the conclusion of what the fuck occurred, you're still going to sound stupid. Black and white folks, you've been enslaving people since 1492. This is historical. When you stop the game, things will start clearing up.
Cherokee.
Spiritually. So then he says, based on these wild allegations, he says the Lord told you to follow Lucifer. So this is the origins where people are coming from. One West and all these things where they say giving double honors and triple honors, and oh man, it's just a hot mess. I just call the awakening the awakening. I call people were probably better off spiritually before getting involved in all of this hogwash.
the Divine Nine is something new to you. It's not new to us. So we have a lot of people we know involved in those things, right? We know of them, but they don't even know that it's tied to Freemasonry. A lot of them don't. But I guarantee you my grandmother was ignorant.
He petitioned the Massachusetts state legislature for funds to educate children of color. He opened his home as a school to provide an education to adults of color. The Deputy Grand Master, Brother Nero Prince, became Prince Hall's successor as Grand Master, followed by George Middleton, then Peter Lew, and then the well-known John T. Hilton, who recommended a Declaration of Independence from the English Grand Lodge in 1827 and the assumption of powers and prerogatives as an independent Grand Lodge.
It's natural sometimes when you speak to speak, like this or whatever. I see my dad do it all the time.
They genetically modified the beings that were on our cousins before we became Homo sapiens, whatever we were. They genetically modified, probably making us a lot more dumbed down, because that's where you get the junk DNA. Oh, interesting. We've been disconnected. Our brains were bigger. Our cousins' brains were much bigger than our brains right now, which means they were probably much smarter. The pineal glands were probably bigger as well.
Certain books they don't believe. You have some Israelites that believe these people over here are the Israelites and these are not, and you can't tell me nothing. And you have some Israelites that believe that certain races are connected to the devil or Satan, and this is what they teach. So Satan's children incarnate, walking on this earth, are a group of people, and so there's different teachings and doctrines that every Israelite, I guess, assembly or camp has.
I said, okay, let's do it in person at our school in Atlanta. He responds back. He says, no, let's do it neutral ground. We'll get a building. We're going to charge people. And don't forget, if I win, this is how you also know when a nigga's scared too. A nigga be talking too much.
And so the same thing he did with TLTW, he didn't want to be asked certain questions by TLTW and the audience. So he made it very clear that he's not taking certain questions. And when it started getting heated, he had to leave, and he tried to say, well, you're going to say, well, the wicked flee will not pursue it. That's just a cop-out. We know you don't want to answer the questions. You don't want to step up to the plate.
It is what it is, bro. You ain't even had a debate. Has he had a debate?
I've never seen any of his debates. I've never even heard of him being a debater.
All right. So if you want to do the debate, we can do it right here in the building that I'm sitting at in Atlanta, Georgia. If not, you're scared. It is what it is. Go ahead, D.
Hey, and I got my ticket. I'll get my ticket right from Seattle to Atlanta. I'll be there live in the flesh.
For your super chats and super stickers, we appreciate you. We are a listener supported a platform, so thank you for all that you do to give. And like Brother Ron, I have a large family, so I appreciate all. Deacon Destruction Mode.
Yeah, y'all know how to do it, man. Send some money in so I can feed my kids. Unbelievable. But this is the reality.
The secret of Masonry, like the secret of life, can be known only by those who seek it.
Actually, no, I don't want to play this one. I don't want to play that one because that's kind of long and shit. Give me a second.
Now check this out.
Oh yeah, this is crazy, man. This is creepy shit. I'm a 32nd degree Mason.
Jew-ish.
And I am endowed with confidence, trust, and responsibility, among other things.
He is the sheriff of the town.
Yes, sir. You know what that is? No, sir. Wacka! You see the floor, family? That's Freemasonry.
This is Masonry. These are so-called Jewish people.
To the fullest. They're the ones that introduced the shit.
Natives of that town.
Yep, they're the ones that murdered the natives of this town. This was a great movie. Leonardo DiCaprio's in it. This shit is crazy because what they did is they took over all those people, all those lands by getting the husbands in alcohol addiction or killing them and then marrying their women and then through that transferring the property over to the white bloodline. You fucking dirty bastards.
spiritual babies on milk, beloveds. I've said too much without saying enough, beloveds. But may those who have ears hear. The Freemasons, there's also the female side, which a lot of people don't talk about, the Eastern Star, which I won't even get too deep into now.
Legend of the Craft, Legend of the Temple.
My name on the Masonic and the Order of the Eastern Star, the Baphomet there.
Photo of George Washington's sash worn in the Revolutionary War at the time he resigned his commission in 1783. Oh boy. The building of Solomon's Temple. Oh look, this is George Washington's Masonic apron. Oh, look at that, George Washington. Okay. Oop, Thomas Jefferson. James Madison, check it out. James Monroe. Andrew Jackson.
Here you have Masonic presidents of our country. Masonic presidents. I'll zoom in here so you can read a little bit better. George Washington, Mason. Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, James Monroe, Andrew Jackson, James Knox Polk, James Buchanan, Andrew Johnson, James Garfield, William McKinley, Theodore Roosevelt, William Howard Taft, Warren Gamaliel Harding, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Harry S. Truman, Gerald Ford, the fatherhood of God, the brotherhood of man. There you have George Washington with a nice all-seeing eye radiating down over the White House. Nice imagery there. The white apron there is made of lamb's wool, and it symbolizes the veil that veils the Holy of Holies from the God of Masonry, which is right directly behind the veil. Excuse me there, I have to point there. That's the God of Masonry. You see the square, you see the compass, you know, this thing here, right there, the G in the middle, does not stand for God. It does not stand for geometry. It stands for generativity. It is a sex symbol. Okay?
But the brethren who were a part of the syndicate. I already knew a backlash was coming because everyone in that religious sphere is a part of the syndicate. So I knew it was going to happen. You're so predictable. Most I said, sit back and watch how they come for you. I said, I'm ready. Most I gave me the encouragement to pursue. And people should just be genuine and say, yo, they're part of the thing and talk out like that pastor guy did, even though, you know, it is what it is. But people are being disingenuous and acting like it doesn't exist. And yet there were former pastors, or they had dads who were pastors and bishops and that. No, stop trying to keep people in ignorance, bro.
Greetings. In celebration of Black History Month, I'd like to discuss the story of Prince Hall, our founder, who was a great American and the first Grand Master associated with our first Grand Lodge and its expansion. Approximately 1 year and 4 months prior to the writing of the Declaration of Independence, Prince Hall engraved his image in the annals of American history. Prince Hall, a free black man, became a property owner, voter, and community activist in the Cambridge-Boston colony. His story has not been told nor recorded in the history textbooks, despite the fact that he was a civil rights activist who made a significant contribution to the growth and development of our nation. Although little is known about the circumstances of his birth, his condition of servitude, or his occupation, we do know, however, that because of Prince Hall's dedication to improve the quality of life for his people, accompanied by a desire to become a Freemason, he and 14 other men of color received the 3 degrees of Freemasonry by being initiated into the fraternity on March 6, 1775, in an Irish military lodge attached to the 38th foot of the British Army. This event made Prince Hall the first of his race in North America to enter into the oldest and most prestigious fraternity in history. The historical record reflects that the others were Cyrus Johnson, Buston Slinger, Prince Reese, Prince Radine, Peter Freeman, Peter Best, John Canton, Deaf Reform, Thomas Sanderson, Cato Spain, Boston Smith, Fortune Howard, and Richard Titley. Around April 14th of 1776, the military regiment to which Hall's Lodge was attached received orders to relocate to the New York colony, leaving Prince Hall and his Negro brethren, all civilians, without a lodge. Prior to leaving, however, the Worshipful Master, Sergeant John Batt, issued to Prince Hall and his brethren a permit to walk on St. John's Day and to bury their dead with full Masonic rites. As a result, African Lodge No. 1, Ancient Accepted York Masons, was formed, with Prince Hall elected as Worshipful Master. As the Batt permit left Prince Hall with Masonic limitations, he petitioned the Grand Lodge of England for a full charter in 1784. On March 2nd of 1784, Prince Hall wrote a letter to William Moody, Worshipful Master of Brotherly Love, number 55 in London, England, stating that African Lodge had been in operation for 8 years, but it only had a permit to walk on St. John's Day and to bury their dead in manner and form. He felt it best to send to the fountains of whence he received the light for a warrant. This warrant or charter was prepared that same year, but was held up when the fee sent by Prince Hall never arrived. After several years, Hall decided to entrust another fee to Captain James Scott, the brother-in-law of John Hancock, a signer of the Declaration of Independence. Captain Scott delivered the letter and the money and received a charter, which he duly delivered to Prince Hall at around the time of the writing of the United States Constitution. Prince Hall acknowledged receipt of the charter in the letter to England and added, "By the grace of God, I shall endeavor to fulfill all that is required of me in the charter, and I shall make the Constitution my guide." According to record, the naming and numbering of African Lodge number 459, which was later changed to 371 on the English Grand Lodge register, has been and is in the exclusive possession of the most worshipful Prince Hall Grand Lodge, Free and Accepted Masons of Massachusetts, and it's secured in the First National Bank of Boston. It's brought out and displayed every 10 years during the Prince Hall Masonic pilgrimage. Some of us have seen it and treasure it, for it is believed to be the only original charter issued by the Grand Lodge of England that is now in the possession of any lodge in the United States. Prince Hall made significant impact upon society during his life. Among his many, he petitioned General George Washington to admit men of color into the Continental Army. Of further note, Hall distinguished himself at Bunker Hill. He led the entire lodge membership in support of Governor Bowdoin during the rebellion of Daniel Shea and his group. He petitioned the Massachusetts state legislature for funds to educate children of color. He opened his home as a school to provide an education to adults of color.
Seen these before. Now that I prepped you for that, let me blow your mind on this shit. You've never seen this in any other channel except the one that we knew about. They destroyed his channel, complained about him, but they can't do that to me. Look, listen, I don't get incentivized. First of all, I don't get incentivized at all. So, you know what I mean? I don't lose or win anything. What I love to do is to prove a point and show facts. So now let's dig into what exactly is the incapability or incapable honesty. The incapability of being honest. Y'all lie so much that it's just like disgustingly crazy. Let's listen to this. It's a good 28 minutes. I've never showed this before, okay? This is the first time. Enjoy.
From this. So, I think that it's a good initiative, but I don't think it has to be based on this fraud of 400 years.
Agreed. This 400 years, 1619, prophecy hype is a fallacy. Many things in this so-called awakening are highly suspect. For example, dates always changing, yet revised and marketed to suit a narrative.
For 400 years after
the slave ships made their first journey from Africa to the American colonies, our next guests are putting a spotlight on the consequences that still resonate to this very day, and we're celebrating the unsung contributions of Black Americans and talking about ways to correct our really shameful history. Please welcome the creator of the New York Times Magazine's 1619 Project, Nicole Hannah-Jones, and
said today, I will agree with you that the year of return is a fraud.
And the 2019 year of return is a sign. It's an end sign for the nations. And it just so happens that right around in 2019, the Panafest and all these Black people going to Ghana visiting, and it created all this money flowing into Ghana,
Bruh. And I had a vision, and the angel Gabriel came to bring the word of God, and the year of the Exodus would be 1967.
Bruh. So first he's talking about a 2,000-year-old Ethiopian prophecy that can be related to any goddamn body. Now he's saying that this prophecy is actually about us current day Americans because he ties it to the civil rights movement, which was a Freemasonic movement. Please do your research. Please. Goodness sake.
God is going to send his decree in these last days, and that is to totally annihilate America. America will be blown off the face of the earth by the year 2000.
Bruh.
Said today, I will agree with you that the year of return is a fraud. Let's talk about African Americans repatriating back home. They don't have visa free. They have to pay for visa. If you really want them to come back home, you don't think they have to get visa free if it's really the year of return? You don't think so?
I had tears going to sleep, and I woke up this morning telling my husband about it, and I said, everyone needs to learn.
She's been saying, we got to go to Ghana.
I know.
We gotta go to Ghana.
Ghana's beautiful from the video I watched. Why did you want to do that? And what was the New York Times reaction when you said, not just a page, I want the entire magazine to be this?
Every Black person living should go to Ghana and see them slave castles so you can see what they did to us. You got to see what they did to us.
Slave, including people of color. The way people talk about slavery these days, you'd think it was a uniquely American thing that we invented in 1619. The word slave comes from Slav, because so many Slavic people were enslaved, and they're as white as the Hallmark Channel. Who do you think gathered the slaves from the interior of Africa to sell to slave traders?
She's continuing her 3-day visit here to...
We have pastors in church who are Freemasons, pastors in church who are Illuminatis. There are many men of God in quotes. There are many of them. I have the list. I'm going to provide you the list. Those who have gone to Ghana, those who have gone to Nigeria, those who have gone to Sierra Leone, those who have gone to South Africa, Tanzania, all over. So to seek powers. Men of God in quotes. They sacrifice people, and there is they are given.
I say a special akwaba to our visitors from outside Ghana, and with the hope that you will always cherish fond memories of this visit in coming years. Anniversaries are occasions for celebration. It is also a time for reflection on achievements and shortfalls over the period, and to determine the way forward for improved performance and aspirations. In our world of Freemasonry, 10 years of existence is but a drop in the ocean compared to the tricentennial, bicentennial, and centennial of the existence of our mother grand lodges and daughter and subordinate lodges. In our own Grand Lodge, all the subordinates.
Saying this again, family, you're not going to find this video anywhere else. I was lucky enough to fucking record this shit like 2 years ago. fire. Thank you, TCA.
Lodges, except one, are older than the Grand Lodge. We are therefore a babe in arms. The advantage of our situation is that we have older lodges and Grand Lodges to look up to for guidance and direction, to adapt to our special cultural, political, and spiritual situation while retaining the basic and universally accepted underpinning characteristics of the craft. As we are all aware, it is 20 years since I was enthroned on the golden stool as the Asantehene.
You're going to find out in the last days that the main people that you go and worship in these churches, they're going to be the main one holding you down. That is because the churches, now remember now, these same churches are the one that sold you out all the years ago. They didn't even have a black census until all the Negro preachers got together with the NAACP. They got together and turned in all the names of black citizens. That's how they got black people on the census, with these Negro preachers. Check. Now, this is the reason why when things go down, you saying my minister ain't saying it. Well, first of all, your minister is ignorant.
Members.
Now the Jesuits,
the history of the Jesuits,
are the ones who behind the scenes control many things. They were founded on the 15th of August 1534 by Ignatius Loyola and were sanctioned by the Pope on the 27th of September 1540. So they were created, as it were, to stand against the Reformation. They were designed to destroy the Reformation. Loyola wanted the order to be champions of Catholic unity, and of course submission to Christ's vicar, the Pope, was absolutely essential. Here you have the institution of Loyola's organization by the Pope on this particular day, and there are some interesting analogies which we will find here. Here, for example, there is considerable analogy between Masonic and Jesuitic degrees. And the Jesuits also tread down the shoe and bare the knee because Ignatius Loyola thus presented himself at Rome and asked for the confirmation of the order. Now, who existed first? Freemasons or the Jesuits? The Jesuits existed first, of course. They were to obey as a corpse, spirit, a cadaver. The reconstitutions repeat 500 times that one must see Christ in the person of the general, and even if God gave you a dog, you must obey him as though he were Jesus Christ himself. And if I cannot do it openly, I will do it secretly. That is what a Jesuit swears. This is the famous Pontifical Gregorian University in Rome, the most prestigious Catholic university in the world. The Jesuits, in all their enclaves, have their figures in caves. Now, in paganism, all the deities come out of the cave, and they have the letters IHS, which actually stand for Isis, Horus, Set, which is the Egyptian Trinity. They, of course, they'll say it means Iesus hominum salvator, Jesus the Savior of men, but it doesn't. It means IHS, Isis, Horus, Set. They have the symbol of the triangle with the eye in a circle, which is also the symbol used in the New Age movement. And we saw that Gary Carr says that Freemasonry controls the New Age movement and the Jesuits control the Freemasonry, or created it.
The founder of the Jesuits was a man called Don Inigo Lopez, who was born into an extremely wealthy family in the Basque region of Spain in 1491. He later changed his name to Ignatius Loyola. As a young man, Loyola was said by police records to be proud, violent, vindictive, and dangerous. His great life's ambition was to become a powerful military commander, which was going well until one particular battle where a cannonball broke one of his legs and heavily wounded.
The tax exempt law. Now what's that law? See something 50136. C6. 501c3, ain't it? It says 501c3, which is the tax exempt. All your black churches and your black colleges, all started by the Freedmen's Bureau, you see, at the same time, to give you a false sense of you gotta get, you know, I want to die and I want to see the Lord and all this kind of thing here, and everybody, and we shall overcome. To give you this foolishness because they can control how far you go with what religion that they done messed up of yours and gave back to you, and what education they gave back to you, and you done had 140 years of both the black church and black colleges, and yes, you in the worst shape. You see what I'm saying? Now the key to that is because them being under the tax exempt law, the major churches, your AME churches, and your United Methodists, which would be your two big black churches, they cannot open the door, not unless you
understand now. That's a good point right there. Prior to, because that is all it is. Churches. This is our church shit. Well, I don't say we because I think you guys. I've been sharing this shit to you guys for a little bit now. And excuse me, everything that I basically have shared, I believe, has come true. I don't think I've ever lied. Honestly. But anyhow, let's continue.
see an American flag with a gold strip down the side. That American flag and the gold strip down the side is the Illuminati flag, which means that these churches are owned, operated, and controlled.
Hear me. We got more preachers in the pulpit that have pledged their allegiance to Omega Psi Phi, to Alpha Kappa Alpha. They can step. They ain't spiritual. They got all the moves. Can't cast out a devil. How you got a brand on your back and you can't worship God? These the same folks that be stepping the moment God come in the building.
When it comes to Christianity, it is no different than worshiping the lamp that you have next to you. It's all with a similar concept. Like I ask every Christian, every single one, I say to them, if you really believe in this Bible, how come you celebrate things that are not in the Bible? For example, plainly, Christmas. Oh, it's because of family. Okay. Well, do you know why that Christmas is even in the Bible claimed to be? And do you know why it falls on December 25th? So it's funny because I explained this to my kids, especially my son. I was explaining, he's 13. So I explained it to my son and I'm like, here's the reason, the winter solstice, falls down 3 days straight, stays in its excuse me, just like a straight line, so to speak, for lack of better words. And then on the third day it goes. And that's what they consider it, rebirth, so to speak. So they're hoping and they're happy and they celebrate because the winter's almost over. One more month to go, so they say. It's like once you know exactly that Christmas is that, what are you going to do? Like, what are you going to do? Are you going to lie to yourself? Will we lie to ourselves because we're supposed to please our families and shit? Nah. Not at all. So, this ain't no different, but let's continue.
All this step and go. You look at Islam, they got spiritual leaders. You look at Buddhism, they got spiritual leaders. And then you look at Christianity, we got celebrities. There's going to be a change in leadership. You will no longer be led by carnal leaders. You will no longer be led by fleshly leaders. God is raising up spiritual, I don't care, spiritual leaders.
Not unless you see an American flag with a gold strip down the side. That American flag and the gold strip down the side is the Illuminati flag, which means that these churches are owned, operated, and controlled. That means that the black colleges are under the same law, just being run by the Illuminati. See what I'm saying? Now, on the other hand, do you know, even some of the Prince Hall Masons don't know this, Don't you know that Prince Hall Masonry, who is in accord with the church, got to sign a petition by the government every year that they don't bear arms against the government? You see what I'm saying? You see? Now we know these particular things because, are you a 33rd degree Mason? 32nd degree Mason. Tell me, does black Masonry, because you're a Prince Hall, that ain't nothing but a doggone social club, drinking liquor and driving cabs and singing Negro spirituals in the church, and a few grips and passwords. And if you was really a doggone Mason, the white Masons got doggone women in their Mason. Annie Besant, 33rd degree Mason. You see what I'm saying? Over 100 years ago. Blavatsky, 33rd degree Mason. They got women in the Masonry. If you really was down, you'd put the women in the Masonry. And I ain't talking about no Eastern Star either. All on nothing. The Masons, the black Masons is no more than the AKAs and the Deltas or the doggone Buffalo Lodge, the doggone Flintstones.
Politicians now. I'm talking about, we're going Mason, right? We're going Freemason, we're going the Illuminati thing. Because I believe that in a world where we are the richest people, why would we let people do their own thing?
Sure.
Like we wouldn't. So we need our elite, our ruling class, not the politicians, not our ruling class, to create a vision that no matter who takes office, South Africa's moving forward.
They have a chain of command similar to.
Check it out, family. I want to show you something real quick. This is from a book, A History of the Jews by Solomon Grazel. Y'all can look it up. I have the actual hard copy, okay? I also have the PDF, but luckily I was looking at this not too long ago, and then I was going on Discord, and I saw a brother link on this. I'm learning Discord. And I saw one of his links that he has like these other, just like a bunch of links to books. And it reminded me how to go to this. And this is what I want to show you. He mentioned Masonry, correct? It says here on page, if I'm not mistaken, 557 on the book, okay? Friendships and partnerships. In view of the small population of colonial America, Jews and Christians were frequently thrown together and learned to cooperate in business, to establish friendships, and to visit one another. It is said that the Jews, quote unquote, introduced Masonry into the colonies. Men like Gratz brothers of Philadelphia and the Franks of Philadelphia and New York had many Christian business associates who became their friends, basically Masons as well. The thing about Masonry, you could be a Christian, you could be a so-called Jew, you could be a Muslim. As long as you believe in some type of creator, they will embrace you. Those are facts, not fiction.
To militia groups, use code words, and have insignia bearing the favorite weapon of the cult, along with its color. Members are promised protection from rival gangs, but it is mostly about power and popularity. These secret societies are banned in Nigeria, and hundreds of members have been arrested and prosecuted over the years.
To be Masons, why were you being asked to do two opposite things?
What people don't realize is that the Catholic Church helped start the Masons. And that, for example, the Scottish Rite, most of the degrees in the Scottish Rite were written by Jesuits. So even though there is this apparent antipathy between the Masons and the Catholics, to the point that up until John Paul II's reign, if you became a Mason and you were Roman Catholic, you were de facto excommunicated, just like that.
Now I know why I found this here too. This is from the Masonry book regarding colored people in Masonry. Okay. See, part 2 of, no, that's not it. But anyways, let's read this. I can't recall what page it is. Hold on. Yes, I can. I have it on my PDF. Give me a second. Let me see if I can get the book real quick. Hold on. Present history. Okay, hold on. America. History. No, it can't be that far down. Okay, I think it's here. Yeah. Page 38 from a book called, excuse me. This book is called, matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to present you the pictures just so you can see, because I don't bullshit, man. This guy wrote this book. Okay. So you can see when he wrote this book as well. Because in this channel, we bring facts, not feelings, not emotions. It's not fair for anybody to be lied to. This book is called Official History of Freemasonry Among the Colored People in North America. What the fuck? Tracing the growth of Masonry from 1717 down to the present day. Bringing to light many interesting facts unknown to the great body of the craft, also giving an account of the introduction of Freemasonry into America, its origin, its practice among Negroes, the establishment of subordinate and grand lodges, royal arcs, chapters, commanderies, and Scott writes, nobles of the mystic shrine. Now you understand where Rabbi Matthews gets his Kabbalah theory and shit. Okay, now it's making sense. This is from W.H. Grimshaw. This is who he is. Copywritten 1903. And this is what it says. All as Masons, we are of the old Catholic religion above hinted. Now, I took it like it was the name, the reference to universal, because that's what they're about. You can be whatever religion, as long as you believe their creed. But here we see that no, they're really involved with los pinches católicos. So you dumbasses that go and kneel your asses down, like tomorrow there's a lot of people that are gonna celebrate that wicked ass Virgin Mary fucking bullshit. And it has to do with this damn wicked demon that is being pushed on a down low. But I believe this is the universal thought that they want.
But it is mostly about power and popularity. These secret societies are banned in Nigeria, and hundreds of members have been arrested and prosecuted over the years.
To be Masons, why were you being asked to do two opposite things?
What people don't realize is that the Catholic Church helped start the Masons. And that, for example, the Scottish Rite, most of the degrees in the Scottish Rite were written by Jesuits. So even though there is this apparent antipathy between the Masons and the Catholics, to the point that up until John Paul II's reign, if you became a Mason, you were Roman Catholic, you were de facto excommunicated, just like that. But actually it's all a sham, because most of the high level of people in the Vatican are all Freemasons, and many of the people that are Freemasons are Catholics.
Blow that picture again, now with better eyes. As Masons, we are of the old Catholic religion, above hinted. Let me see if I can get the book. I think I might have uploaded it here. Yeah, it's this one. It's this one. The official history of Freemasonry among the colored people of North America. So this guy goes into the whole history regarding Freemasonry, and he really emphasizes your relationship as Negroes to Freemasonry. Since 1717, 1790, something, 1780, somewhere around there, is when you get the first lodge, I believe. Then he's going through the chapters of each lodge. I mean, he does go through the years of the lodges. For the sake of time, I don't want to look for it. Why should we? You know what I'm saying? I'm very fully aware of exactly what occurred when when our lands were taken by strangers. It wasn't just white folks. And I've been saying this for years. It's not. I'm not just. I didn't just wake up yesterday. I've been saying it for a while. You're probably new to your wake up call. What I'm trying to do is wake up my gente. See, I went through this book and I marked some things down, highlighted some important stuff. Let me see if I can go through it real quick, because I was going to bring this out in my other class that I still have pending, part 2 of sun worship. So you see this here. So these pictures that we're talking about, like, now you need to understand where they come from, fam. Lewis Hayden, 18th Grand Master of Prince Hall Lodge. Now look, listen, I can't guarantee you, but I could swear that picture right there, that looks like the picture of a slaver. Someone that I've seen in another book. This is crazy right here, man. This is nuts. I gotta save this family. Wow. We see this is why you have to look through things. And no knock on anybody, man. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to help my people figure this shit out. Look at this right here. Reverend Absalom, first Grand Master of Pennsylvania. So he's a preacher. Protestant, maybe more likely. 1815. Letters from 1789. Listen, my gente, y'all motherfuckers didn't know how to read at that time. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of you guys are in these funky ass 12-tribe chart rooms believing the bullshit that they tell you. These people have had a head start. This is why I named the class for what it is. We see what's going on now, and we see what's going on in the past. Now you can connect the dots.
Because the Jesuits control all of them, every single level.
Basically nice, decent, law-abiding people. And at low levels, they basically are. They teach people to be decent, law-abiding citizens. And a lot of the low-level Masons have no idea what the Masonic order really is. It's a very deceptive organization. It's a very Luciferian organization, and they gradually kind of bring you to that understanding.
275 years ago, the Freemasons established their first lodge in Germany. In the venerable church of St. Michael, the members of what is probably the biggest secret society in the world are celebrating a jubilee. A hidden parallel world exists in our midst, one with its own special symbols and strange rituals.
You saw that? And he dropped like it was poleaxed. They're Masons. By the square, by the level, by the plumb rule, by the compasses, and by the all-seeing eye.
Nelson Mandela was a Freemason, particularly a Prince Hall Freemason.
Co-masonry. Are the symbols, words, and other Masonic expressions also found within the occult? Yes, they are. They are also used in the Golden Dawn and other societies. As we say, here is the Order of the Eastern Star. Here is their main center, the international headquarters, also known as the International Temple. That is where it is, in Washington, D.C. This is Prince Hall Freemasonry. This is Black Freemasonry. And Very often the Masons themselves do not know about all these sub-organizations. So if you go up the ranks of Prince Hall Freemasonry, then you will find Knights Templars up there, for example. Knight Templar, well, that tells you something, right? So they really use these names. This is their own page, so this is not something that has been thought up. And the very, very highest individuals in the black world, for example, are Prince Hall Freemasons. Might I mention a name, Nelson Mandela, if you're interested? This is what they look like. So there's no such thing as it just being a white brotherhood, although each one of the groups is individually offered.
You catch that shit? Did you catch what he said about Jason Mandela? Man, let's continue.
Non-informed. This is the levels. These are the levels in Freemasonry, and we can fill them in. The actual levels vary according to the source.
You can see right now, we're actually in the worship hall of a Prince Hall Freemason Lodge. Right now, this is in Brooklyn, New York. Look down where I'm standing right now. You got the black and white checkered floor. All right, you got your altar obviously right here. And I just noticed something interesting that I never noticed before. Check this one out. Look inside of the bulb. They actually have the Freemason logo inside of the bulb. So the light is the grand architect, Lucifer. They actually put that in, like the bulb. That's interesting. And I want to see. Check this out, what they're using for music. He's got the whole world in his hands. They play that on the organ in there.
I visited another lodge while they were setting it up. If Freemasons worship the devil, why is this lodge inside a Baptist church? Look, a holy Bible.
So how do you draw the distinction, meaning you're saying you're a Catholic and then you're a Mason, and does that get
I'm a Catholic, and the Pope, I think John Paul, honored me with a knighthood, Catholic knighthood. They came here to this very room from Centenary House to interview me, because before the Pope would confer such an honor on a person, they would want to know that he would be a worthy recipient. And they asked me, are you a Mason? I told them yes.
Oh.
Well, we went away. They came back, and I told them again. But the Pope, in spite of that, said, go ahead. It's an open-minded thing. But the Pope, currently, you've got Catholics, some Catholics in Masonry. But of course, there are still some who wouldn't touch Masonry at all, because historically, Catholics were not supposed to join this thing.
And become Masons. Interesting.
That's something I respected.
I woke up, first thing I wanted to see was him. Before I went to bed at night, the last thing I wanted to see was him. I love him.
There you go, man. In a sense, Mark had been turned out by his own boy. He fell in love with Minnie, and in prison that made him vulnerable.
And David Mendenhall, he worked on radios, and he'd fix my radio and everything. We got to talking, eating together, you know, drinking together. We'd do a little drugs together, and we became friends.
I had never turned a boy out or had a boy or anything, and that wasn't my objective. You know, I was just supposed to pull him away from the other people he was kicking it with and to kick it with us.
They never threatened me, and basically they give me anything I wanted. You know, watches, clothes, boots, shoes, anything I wanted I could get.
His family had cut him off. Mail calls came with no letters from home and no money on the books. Survival was looking
him in his ass. It was more than that. You know what I'm saying? I cared deeply about him.
And we was there for each other through this, you know, whatever situation. So that caused me to have feelings about him. I didn't really kick it with nobody else for a little over 2 years.
Mindy was not the only one to join Mark's makeshift clan. There was Hips, a forger. He began as a prison wife.
It's really not just a sex thing. It's about having a companion. Somebody that you know is your friend
I got Hips through a partner of mine. Hips went to the street and come back to prison. When he got to the camp, he owed out like $300-400 worth of shit. When he first got there, from before when he was in prison.
And we were business partners. Okay, when I left and he left, we met up again here at Limestone in 2000. Okay, and it was the same scenario. Mark had a boy, David Mendenhall, okay, and I run tattoos, run a store, and hustled, all right? So me and Mark started running a store again together, hustling, trying to make more money and more money and more money and more money, and before you know it, I ended up with 2 boys, and he ended up with 2 boys, and we called it a family, and when he wasn't around, I watched all of them, and when I wasn't around, he watched all of them. And
a challenge made my dick hard to chase him, to see if I could get him before anyone else.
I met Mark on the chain gang. I would say it was in '98. I wouldn't talk to him for the first couple of days because I was too scared. But then after that, I kind of loosened up a little bit, and I got high with him. He was running the store, and I had a person I was looking out for as far as loaning him stuff. So I'd go to Mark and get stuff and loan it out for a money order or whatever, and just pay Mark off. So that's how we got acquainted, was just through business.
He came to me, Mindy came to me, and requested to be with me, you know what I'm saying? Which was rather strange because this was like the first guy that ever pulled up on me and said, hey man, can I be with you? You know, so it was rather shocking.
So we ended up doing a business transaction on some money, and he asked me if I would do something for him. And I told him yeah. Of course, at the time I said that, I didn't have that in mind, but that's what it ended up being. So, you know, from that point on, I didn't really kick it with nobody else for.
That we all worship.
Okay. He looks pretty cool. He's like a crazy goat man kind of thing.
Now, we will need you to include some of our messaging in your program.
Oh, okay. So you mean like there's going to be a commercial sponsor or something?
No, nothing tacky like that, no. We just want you to have some, you know, self-destructive themes. You know, like we use a lot of hip-hop artists to glorify violence and drugs.
Welcome to another episode of You Gon' Learn Today. On this episode, we're talking about Tupac Shakur and his relationship with the Vatican. Let's go. In 2009, the Vatican compiled 12 songs as part of an official playlist to be recognized by the church. Changes by Tupac was one of the songs selected. The distinction is the first time the Catholic Church had officially recognized the work of any famous American artist. Father Giulio Neroni chose the songs, and Pope Benedict XVI approved the playlist. Afeni Shakur, the mother of the late Tupac, said, quote, "This is such an amazing surprise. It's not something I would have ever thought possible. I give thanks every day, knowing Tupac's words and music continue to have such an incredible effect on people worldwide."
It used to be a secret fraternity of the elite. And so occasionally by divination, they see through the vistas of time and they handpick potential people across music, across the arts and entertainment, across business. And so they come to you with a proposal to manipulate things according to their will. You become a benefactor when you sell your soul to the devil.
Friendly dude. See, I told you, see, all this is giving me all that. Oh man, he took care of me, man. He gave me this shirt, you know, these jeans and the Timbos. I'm looking fly out here, right? Giving me all this, giving me all that. I said, look, man, you getting groomed. Sebo ain't no friendly dude. See, I told you, Sebo like white boys. And he like, man, you tripping, dog. You tripping. I said, listen, I've been here for 3 years. You just got here. I'm trying to look out for you. He like, man, I got this. Right? 3 days, maybe 3 days later, right? I ain't see the white boy for 3 days.
He ain't come out of his cell for 3 days.
Damn, 3 days.
I'm like, that's odd. Wonder what's going on with him.
Bed rest.
He finally come out on the 4th day. He wearing his shirt all tied down there.
Oh no.
He already had hair like came to like right here. It was dyed red. Got Jolly Ranchers and dipped them in like a mop bucket thing in water and made like a coloring of red Jolly Ranchers and put it on his head.
Not the damn Jolly Ranchers.
When Sibo walked out of that cell, the white boy was holding his back pocket. He would not look up. He was looking at the ground. He was not allowed to look at another man in that pod.
Oh, man.
I'm trying to bring awareness to people. So check this out. I'm not telling y'all this story to scare nobody. Actually, I am. Because if this video can reach somebody from doing something stupid and ending up in prison, and this could happen to you, and it can happen to you.
Yeah, it can.
This is a warning. Don't do nothing stupid out here in the world so you don't have to get locked up.
Louis Farrakhan, who is another high-level Freemason who runs the Nation of Islam for the Archbishop of Chicago.
A lot of people could say the black community, as well as, specifically the Nation of Islam, they blame white supremacy when we know that those are truly issues.
So we have all these high-level Masonic leaders, black and white, of all these various different religions, working together for agitation among the peoples of this country, but never ever exposing the papacy as the true heart and soul and its real master.
The same people that created the Federal Reserve Bank, the same people that created the League of Nations, that eventually became the United Nations, the same people that created the Council on Foreign Relations, are the same people that created the NAACP and the Urban League, the Boule. These people are deceivers. A lot of preachers, I hate to say it, the devil have preachers.
If Allah is the God of heaven and earth, like you said, then you have to accept Him.
Amen.
And Him only.
That's it.
That's absolute.
The problem.
Tell you something, black man, hey, you gotta watch these stinking Africans, man. Right. And they know you not the same people. So where does all this anti-African rhetoric come from?
I saw this the other day. I don't want to play the same one so soon because I have a bunch that I have to show you. You see that star? Upside down, looks like a goat. What do you say to that shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you say to that? Just ignore it? Let it go? No big deal? What are we dealing with? What are we working with, so to speak? Let me see this real quick. This is an old one.
To provide an education to adults of color.
Excuse me, I showed you guys that one. I'm trying to find one that we haven't seen. Now check. So we saw that.
These are the fake Jews.
We saw that, I think. Let me see this one.
Like the secret of masonry, like the secret of life, can be known.
I don't want to do that because I think they may block my channel for that shit. I have a feeling that that's what had occurred. Let's see what. Give me a second. Time is 2017. Let me see if I'm not missing anything. Give me a moment. So we got this. Oh, yeah. Yeah. These are the things that eventually bother people. You know what I'm saying? Let's look at this statement here.
It's kind of really crazy how people are assuming my nationality. You look Filipino, you look Siberian, you're Asian, da 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 da. So I am a direct descendant of Peruvian and Honduran blood. They are Asiatic looking people. By the way, I did a DNA test and my lineage is from Inca Mayan descent and of the Moorish nation. So, Alhamdulillah. Glory to that. Assuming my nationality, we are not all the same. America is a ginormous continent. Our lineage migrates from different places. DNA is our ancestry, so.
Let's recall before people forget. Hold on, I like this video. Hold on, brother. Hold on, dog. People to hear you. I want the people in the back to hear you.
I have a European Y chromosome, so that's my father's lineage. I have a European Y chromosome. My father's line is of European ancestry. In fact, my great grandfather was European. My great grandfather was European in Georgia. And I knew that before I actually did the testing. Once I did the Y chromosome test, I found that, lo and behold, I didn't have a African Y chromosome. I had a European Y chromosome. I didn't have a African Y chromosome. I had a European Y chromosome. So it confirmed the oral history in my family. Whether I had a Y chromosome from Europe or not, it didn't matter.
The nerve. Fucking nerve. Anyways. All right, I think that's all I got, fam. All right, so let me show you something. Oh, hold on, let me do this real quick. Don't fall for everything, okay? Earlier today, I had noticed this on, I think this was TikTok. Okay. I want you to pay attention to this. That guy does not look like that guy. And that guy does not look like that guy. And that guy does not look like that guy. But these are some videos that I caught on TikTok, I believe. I don't know if they are AI, but are they? And if they are, who created them? And if the FBI is so keen on this shit, why would you allow that? And then, because look, let's put it this way. This guy has that shape, but not that guy. This guy has this shape, but not that guy. This guy kind of looks like this guy, maybe. But this guy? And this guy? Now, here's where it gets even more interesting if you look into the drawing. Okay? The other guy doesn't have the same. You see that? Call it AI, call it, I don't know, call it what the fuck. I don't know, man. I've seen The Matrix, and you know what I mean? Mr. Anderson. Fucking dude that calls him that shit, I forget his name. Like, this is what I'm seeing. Just three, like, what the fuck are we doing here? Which is why I say, and this is the whole point, like, incapable honesty, man. You guys are incapable of being fucking honest. Like, you are surrounded by propaganda, family. So whatever it is that you see, you better hold on to your fucking horses. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me play the video that I was trying to share with you guys. Because in reality, this is exactly what went on. And after this, I'm out.
Yes, I've said that many times. Westerners can't tell the truth. Okay, so let's talk about how and why they can't tell the truth. I've said it many times. Westerners are incapable of honesty. They're incapable of telling the truth. I've explained many times. I'm not saying it's deliberate. It's not necessarily on purpose, no. You know, that would be like, literally like saying someone who has no legs is on purpose not playing basketball. You understand? I'm talking about incapability, not deliberate, intentional dishonesty. I mean, obviously, there are plenty of people who are just straight up liars out of the West and everywhere else, but I'm not talking about them. I'm saying that honesty is not their language in the West. Truth is not a dialect that they speak. They don't know how to speak that language. I know people get mad when I say that, but understand, I'm actually telling you something that has been done to you. I'm telling you something that you have been deprived of. You understand? I'm telling you something that you're a victim of by your culture, by your so-called civilization. They victimized you in this way. This is the most graphic and the most literal form of kufr, of kufar, covering up, concealing, burying the truth. And this is all they do. It's the only language they know, truly. This is the only language they know. And this is why everyone around the world is quickly coming to the conclusion that you simply can't be engaged with. The Westerners simply can't be engaged with. It's just not productive. It's not productive. It's not useful in any way whatsoever to engage with you. Like I've said before, in these interactions, no communication ever actually takes place when we talk to you, when people in the global south talk to you, when Muslims talk to you. And that's a shame. It's a shame what has been done to you, but it has been done to you. It's a shame what you've been deprived of as a human being. This dysfunction that has infected, intergenerational dysfunction that has been inflicted on your culture. Now, of course, some of what I'm talking about could be dismissed as their ignorance or their misunderstanding, you know, or some sort of a personality disorder, like you can't pay attention, you have ADHD or what have you, or you're aggressive, you have a problem with your temper and so forth, and this is why you can't be engaged with, why there can't be productive, normal, healthy, rational conversations with you. But for me, I characterize all of these behaviors under the overarching label of dishonesty, because that's how it pans out. That's the practical impact. That's the practical outcome. You know, you inject falsehood, you muddy the waters of discourse, you distract, you derail, you deny, you deflect, you sidestep. You know, you bring in irrelevancies into the conversation. You bring in fake issues. You do anything and everything. Wallahi, you do anything and everything to try to stop honest discussion. You always try to obscure reality by hook or by crook. And so the practical impact of all of that, that all comes out to the same practical impact as if you were just lying. I mean, it goes much deeper than just false narratives. It's deeper than propaganda. We're actually talking about a culturally ingrained reflex against truth. Yes.
Yeah. That is all and that is it. Disculpenme, family. I am going to have to take care of something rather quickly, so I'm just going to play one song or two maybe, and then I'm out. Appreciate you sticking around. Thank you for listening in. That video, man, I hope you guys can chop it up and work with it, because that shit is very fucking interesting.
Se ve tan mal cuando miras a otro lado, los fantasmas del pasado no se detendrán hasta verte derrumbado. Peores lo hemos pasado. Andaba a golpes con la tristeza, me aportó riqueza, me otorgó sabiduría, pues se dibujaba en todas mis piezas. Yo con alegría le daba color después. La aguja sigue girando, tiempo parece se burlar de mí. Dijo que sanaría esperando, pero creo que la espina aún sigue ahí. Con los dedos no voy palpando, cierro los puños, escapa de aquí. Agonizando, no me espera el tiempo, no voy a esperar por ti. Nuestras huellas en la orilla se han borrado por la marea. Si esas estrellas ya no brillan, las entiendo pa' que veas. Sea donde sea, bajo la tormenta o dentro de la odisea, donde arañas cubren el cielo de tela, los aviones nadan y los barcos vuelan. Aunque parezca que va bien, no sabes bien si va mal. Besos que pueden doler, ojos que pueden matar. Tengo mi alma en el almacén encerrada, mi corazón está en huelga, mis sentimientos en ámbar. Gente, Calamala dijo que estaría presente. Fallaron como nunca, se fueron para siempre. Millones de razones para vengarme, pero a veces duele más actuar indiferente.
Como no quieren ver ahogados, tenemos branquias y cerrados los bronquios como la mente de un guardia. Yo soy la montaña y vine con la cordillera. Más cojones que tu ganga tiene una madre soltera. Tú cúbrete si suena mi tu. A mi lado tengo soldados fumando de su palulu. Ni un conjuro de grimorio me lo salva del velorio. Pa' tener pila valorio se matan vestidos de emporio. Y yo no quiero una pistola, estoy soñando que la vida que quería me llega a tiempo. Desde que yo la vi sola, loco ando. Vino a verme cuando el sol se estaba poniendo y se dejó una pluma y se perdió en la bruma. Nunca se despidió de mí, nunca se despidió de mí.
Vivo en un mundo que parece roto y sé que no, porque todo es perfecto y lo debo plasmar. Me fumo un trócolo tras otro y lo veo todo otro color. Me siento libre porque vuelvo a conectar. Mi gente sufre y no lo puedo evitar, más que dándole consejos siempre desde la humildad. Es su camino hacia la fraternidad. Solo puedo que enseñarles a respetar y amar. Con esta bendición, como no voy a aprovechar los códigos que llegan, los tenemos que aceptar. Si me reencarné fue para ayudar y no para malgastar mi tiempo en beneficio del mal. En la unión nace la fuerza y eso nos hace juntar las ganas que siempre tuvimos
por dentro la llama, no puedo contener la ras. Churruscao el corazón, el armazón no puede llegar a pesarme más. Si abro la boca, tu tumba al suelo, me muelo a diario y sobrado de gas. Escupo ristas perfectas, baladas de versos eternos, no mueren jamás. Cuando acabe mi condena, me vi muy solo y perdido. Cada vez más negra la flema, más elegante el problema, pero planté cara a todos mis enemigos. Recuperé las ganas, las fuerzas y el garbo. Dedico requiems a mis diablos, que aquí estoy vivo de milagro. Delicadas flores crecieron entre los cardos. Me dicen bien es más delgado que de costumbre. Será de tanto que he bailado en el alambre, que a tanta pena es mejor no ponerle nombre. Llevamos la música en vena, nuestra sangre.
En la Plaza de Reyes, Black Sumenta, Soplón. Yeah. ¿Qué vas a saber?
¿Qué vas a saber tú? Oye, chibolito, faltomé. Pulpín de los pulpines, batería de Rapunzel, de rapeos, de raptos, de lagartos en cuartel. Cualquier la pega de cruel con un viejo coronel. Soy flujo, se me antojó dormirme en el laurel. Elevé mi level con un label y un Faber-Castell. Ya un papel, lo empape con sangre de todo aquel que se jura Nobel y no ve mis trenes en la riel. What's so man? ¿Por qué no sacan la tablet? Juro por mis aguas que no te hablo por las powers. Soy chinchado neto, búscame por pico sour y te voy a meter al centro loco como Beckenbauer. Escúchame atento mi bro, que estamos rompiéndole en pro. El negro de Plaza de Reyes como siempre rompe de este micrófono. Que quiere meterle como yo pero no puede meterle taco pro. Si te pensaba que solo era un gallo, déjame decirle que se equivocó. Real motherfucker feeling on the street. Es el Black Sheep, Black Sea Metal de Plaza de Kings. Motherfucker, so bloom.
Nero Luigi, man, desde Peña, a la victoria para que sepa. INCAPABLE, Money Gang Gang, yeah, yeah, Yo también he llorado, gente. También me han desplazado por mi rasgo afrodescendiente. Sí, un perro no habla pero siente. Cuento historias callejeras pa' barrios de delincuentes. Soy un perro que te ladra, que te muerde y que te huele, nene. Soy más que Lene, ustedes para mí son pelele. Con mi jauría todo el día en busca de los cheles. Tengo un perro en fiscalía que nos mueve los papeles y otro en la comisaría para evitar el susto. Muchas veces me han llevado por solo como luzco. Perdón, madre mía, si yo le causé un disgusto, pero en esta vía yo crecí rodeado de perros chuscos. Yo sé que me quieren ganar, yo sé que me quieren tumbar y no pasará porque soy de verdad. Está súper rafina la Dodo Style, metido en latina aprendiendo quizá. Yo tengo el style, no mido la raza del perro, yo mido por la lealtad y yo soy leal. La calle te enseña lo que no te enseña la universidad. Saliste ese peña aquí con una seña te tiran para atrás. La calle limeña aquí nadie la tenía, ya nada es igual. Tiene que respetar, tiene que respetar. La calle te enseña lo que no te enseña la universidad. Saliste ese peña aquí con una silla te tiran para atrás. La calle limeña aquí nada le doy, ya nada es igual. Tiene que respetar, si yo soy tu papá. Cinco Mob, negro. Cinco Mob, nigga. Nero Luigi, man. Incas Mob, yeah. It's Money Gang, 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 yeah.
Hey, yo. Yango en la maldita casa. Me llaman pa' que les dé al menos una vez al mes. Se metieron al lago y olvidaron que era el mes. For everybody bless. La fama es una puta, me está llamando a las 3. Dile que llame después de las 16 y 25. Volví de la infancia de Abraham Lincoln. Con fuerza ya inco, luchando para salir del rincón. Letra callejera en CD brinco. Under del under, puede que tu viejo te lo mande. Sale de vez en cuando como el cóndor por los Andes. Mi cuerpo no es de madera como Dandy. Antes que me branden, yo seré el ola que los expande. Aunque esto me pique en la madera, no sirven ni para romper el ticket de un evento afuera. Loco por la carrera, desafían la gravedad. Yo espero tras la barrera y llego con la novedad. Niña, tú solo espera que ya encontré la manera. He visto bastante por querer lograrlo saltando escalones dentro de la escalera. La vida me puso al depósito, yo soy de púlpito para que el mundo conociéramos de esta parte mejor interprete que ha parido esta cordillera sin luz afuera.
que el espectáculo es dentro. La calle es mi templo, tiembla el pavimento. Cuando yo me concentro, mis disparos son temas. La calle un poema, se siente desde cuando entro. Y a toditos estos drogaditos que creen que rapean, los regreso al centro de mi balcón. Yo he visto el clon del clon en la misma gestión, pero a la malla no llega el balón. Y para esta pantalla no existe patrón. Yo ya me sé la cuestión y doy fe por cada renglón. Consciente de la operación del final de Mbappé con la edad de bufón. De Young, la maldita casa, Plaza de Rey y papá. El Nero Luigi, Black Cimental, hip hop peruano, rasgo en la maldita base. Yao, yao, yao.
Ical, hijo, abre los ojos. Tu cuerpo se queda con nosotros, pero tu espíritu debe seguir. Busca la luz. Aléjate de las sombras. Deja que nuestro dolor sea tu fuerza. Desde aquí caminamos tu camino. Lucha como nosotros, esta pena tan grande. Yo soy tú. Eres yo. La muerte que hoy nos separa, mañana volverá a unirnos. Eres libre, hijo.